Hi, good day and welcome to the first episode of Be Real. Today I'll be focusing on anxiety, depression, and coping mechanism. Reason being because anxiety is usually linked to depression. For people who suffers with anxiety and depression, I want you all to know that you are not by yourself. There are millions of people suffering with the same thing, and because of the stigma that society paints, people are afraid to speak out of what they go through. If you are experiencing signs and symptoms such as decreased appetite, you're not able to communicate with people, you don't feel as loved as you are supposed to, these may be mild symptoms of depression, right? And it have mechanisms and ways to cope with these symptoms. So for anxiety, usually people laugh at when you say, okay, do deep breathing. Inhale, count to 3, and then exhale. That is actually one of the most effective coping mechanisms to deal with anxiety. Another way to deal with anxiety is by closing your eyes and thinking of a 24-hour clock. You're counting down the numbers on the clock. So you start from 24 and you reverse the numbers. So you go 24, 23, and you continue. And anytime you are bombarded by a bad thought or something negative, you start counting over again. Another way that you can fight an anxiety attack is by staring at an object, right? And when you stare at the object, you have something to focus on rather than thinking about a negative thought. Millions of people suffer with anxiety. Even the richest, most successful people in life suffer from anxiety. People usually have anxiety attacks during certain times of their life. For example, I suffer from anxiety if I have an exam. So yeah, the thought of everything just there, and then you're frightened because you don't know if you're going to fail, you don't know if people looking at you, if you're doing a practical exam, right? And I suffer from that. So that's why I tell people, it's not you alone that suffers. So don't be afraid to speak out and say what you're going through, right? And a lot of people these days focus on physical health and not mental well-being. And mental well-being has a big part to play in someone's life. We need to speak out. Sometimes we just need to get out stuff that pack up for years. It's on our subconscious minds, and we just need to get it out. So for people who suffer with depression, they themselves might ask, how can I cope with this? Yes, it is one of the darkest moments of your life, dealing with depression. Been there, done that, so I could talk about it. But it's up to you to fight, and you have to be strong-minded in order to overcome depression. And you'd ask yourself, what are some coping mechanisms that I can use to fight depression? Getting good practice of exercising. Exercising increases the level of serotonin, your happy chemicals in your body. Quiet the mind. So you're going to quiet your mind by doing meaningful meditation. Meaningful meditation is a form of meditation where you sit down, relax, and you're not focusing on your past or your future, but you're focusing on what is at hand. Like the sense you're getting, whatever the area that you're sitting on, you're focusing on those things. Also, have goals. Do short-term planning. And short-term planning, having goals short-term meaning you're using the word SMART to help you plan. So SMART, you're being specific, measurable, making sure the goal is attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So you're giving yourself a certain period to achieve a goal. Also, long-term planning. So you have a plan for your future, where you want to see yourself next 5 years. And you could also use your short-term goals to help you achieve your long-term goals. Also, if you're going through stress, you could sit down with a notepad and use that notepad as your dump. So you're going to write down all the bad stuff that's going through your head. You're going to place it in the notepad, and then you can discard off the notepad, or some people bury the pages, right? And that is something very good because it helps you get rid of all the negative thoughts. Have friends, make friends. Although while you're going through depression, it might be hard to keep people around. You might be giving the people around you a hard time to stay around, but it's something that, as I said before, you need to fight it. You need to get up and see about yourself. Do you, right? If buying a t-shirt makes you happy, go ahead, buy the t-shirt and stop worrying. Things that you should not do while going through a depression, on the whole, you should not compare your life to somebody else's life. And well, I am guilty of that, sadly. You should not compare and watch, okay, this person traveling the world, or even things like Instagram pages. You shouldn't be watching it and be like, you know, if I was in a better position, that might have been me. Because sometimes people paint a picture and they are not real. So if you all are still having problems coping on your own, the best thing to do is seek professional help. And in Trinidad, you visit the local health center, which is free. Talk to the doctor and they would diagnose you, and they would refer you to like a stress relief clinic. They make an appointment and you'd be able to talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And it is effective. It helps a lot. Although you might be thinking that, well, this person only talking, and it ain't going to change my problem, because I'm sure this person had their own problems to deal with. We all have our own problems to deal with, but if you listen, right, and you do as it tell you, because most likely they will tell you, they would sit down, listen to what they think causing the problem, and they will give you homework, because I got homework to do, right? They'll give you homework on how to enhance dealing with your problem. So sometimes you think that these people have their own stress, why are you even going to bother to listen to them? And you know, I was thinking the same way, no lie. But eventually I gave in and I accepted. I understand what depression is, I understand what anxiety is, and I understand that I had, in order to come out of it, I had to fight, right? And I had to be strong-minded and willing in order to change the situation that I had at hand. And it helps. Going out, talking to people, making new friends, it helps a lot, right? So, as I said before, if you all are not able to cope on your own, please visit for professional help. Nobody going to think you're mad, right? Because millions of people experience depression and anxiety. So, feel comfortable, feel confident about yourself, and make the right choice. Don't wait until it's too late, that, you know. So I just want you all to remember that anybody can suffer from anxiety and depression, no matter what age. But I want you all to know that you all can overcome it. I followed these simple exercises, and then I went on to seeking professional help, and eventually I was able to overcome anxiety and depression. And if I could do it, you could too. So thank you for viewing my first episode of Be Real, and continue supporting for great tips and advice and giveaways, starting with one of these beautiful t-shirts. Don't forget to like, share and comment on these pages to be our next winner. I am Sweetless Freebie. See you soon.